What's up, everybody? Hey, this is Justin from Kemp's Knife Life, and this is the review of the Buck 110. This was actually a recommendation from my fiance. She's like, you gotta review the 110. You know, I know you're using it as a size comparison knife, but you gotta review it. And I absolutely agree with her. I mean, this is one of the most iconic knives ever made. Even if you're not into knives, you recognize this knife. Probably know someone who's used this knife or owned this knife, or at least held this knife. So it's really an American icon, and yeah, it deserves a review for sure. So just starting out with the blade steel. On this one, it's 420 HC. I said 440 in my first video. I was incorrect about that. It's 420 HC with the Boss heat treatment. It's a good steel. Easy to sharpen, good edge retention, and very budget friendly. So I gave this steel a 5 ranking on my scale. It's no CTS 204P. It's not 20 CV or M390, but it's a good steel at the price point, and it does have very good characteristics for a knife that's, you know, honestly going to be used a lot. So I give it a 5 on the ranking for blade steel. In terms of clip, this knife does not have a clip. They do make 110s that have clips. I believe the scales are plastic on those, but this one comes with a leather belt sheath. And so for the purposes of this review, I just ranked the sheath, and I give it a 7 because sheaths are very usable. A lot of people do wear belts, so it gives them the option to carry a sheath. You know, they're easy to use, takes the weight out of your pocket, ergonomic, and I think it's a fair score for this. In terms of lock type, this is a back lock. You can see the disengagement point back here at the back, and so you simply just push that and then push the blade. Yeah, so the way it works is when you push this lifts this bar up, which was engaged with the blade. You can kind of see, let's see if it'll focus. There's a little cutout down there. And then when the blade comes back, when you're opening it, this bar will fall into that recess and it locks up. So this is a back lock. Again, I don't give a score for back lock or for lock type, but I just like to cover it in my review so you guys are aware of what it is. The fourth item is materials. So I'm looking at handles, screws primarily. So this one has pins, has brass bolsters, and then it has these ebony scales that, according to my research, are sourced responsibly. So I guess that's a good thing. But the materials are nice, very old school, very classic. And in terms of score, I gave it a 6. It's not carbon fiber, it's not titanium or aircraft grade aluminum, but still nice materials. You can see a little bit of oxidation there. I think that was from the sheath. But still nice materials, so I think a score of 6 is very fair for that. In terms of size, this is a big knife, and it's also heavy. I'm not sure what these weigh in at, but I'm guessing they're pushing the 5-ounce mark. So you can see here, this is a Spyderco Manix in Spy 27. You know, like I said, very big knife. And then this is the Benchmade 940, just for a comparison. And then another knife I want to do a comparison to, and I won't reveal what this one is yet, but it's in the same design vein as the 110. It's this little guy. So you can see there, that's a size comparison for you. So big knife, very heavy, very substantial. In terms of action, when I first bought this, the action was pretty gritty. Now it's smoothed out a lot, but I've not played with it, but I guess actuated it quite a bit. I've also put quite a bit of oil in the pivot. You can see it kind of riding along there. But the action now is pretty good. I mean, backlocks are always going to be stiff. You're not going to be able to just like toss it open, which is probably a good thing. So I gave the action a 6 on this. I think it's good for what it is. And yeah, I think that's a fair score for that. In terms of hardware, these are pins, but I'm also considering how easy is the knife to clean, because that's a lot of where I come from when I rank hardware. Can it be taken apart? Can it be maintained? Can it be cleaned? This knife does have pins, but in my opinion, it can be cleaned pretty easily. I mean, you can get a Q-tip down into the handle there. You can clean here around the lock where it engages, on the sides here at the back. So I gave this a score of 4, even though these are pins, because I think it's still easy to maintain. And yeah, so a 4 for hardware. In terms of price, this is a very good value in my opinion for what it is. I mean, you get the ebony, you get the brass bolsters, you get the 420 steel with the excellent heat treatment. You get the action. It's good. It comes with a leather sheath, and you can typically find these for about $40, which is an excellent price for what you get. So I gave the price a score of 8, and I think that's well deserved. And then finally, in terms of quality, I've only handled this one in terms of 110s, but this one is good quality. I mean, the lockup is solid. You can hear it click there. There's no up and down blade play or side to side blade play. Where the lock bar and the blade meet is very tight. The scales to the lock bar, there's a little bit of a gap here on the right side, but it's not too bad. It's pretty tight. Not much of a gap here where the wood meets the brass, so that's really good. And then the centering is very good as well. You can see here the blade's almost perfectly centered. It might favor the right side just a tad, but quality overall is very good. Oops, sorry about that. On this knife, so I gave it a score of 8. And yeah, again, like with the price, I think it's well deserved. So, and then the last category that I look at is competition. There are a lot of knives out there, backlocks, that have a clip point blade. I'm not sure if they make them anymore, but I know Schrade used to make one that looked almost exactly like this. Maybe that's an old timer now. I'm sure Case makes knives that are in this same vein. Those are going to be more expensive because they're made in the USA, smaller batches. Really, for the price and for what you get, this is the best that I've seen if you're looking for this style of knife. Just a really good value, really high quality, good materials, and honestly just that classic buck look. So yeah, there are other options out there, but in terms of price for what you get, I would highly recommend considering this buck 110. So yeah, that's just kind of an overview of the 110. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you have any comments, please leave those, or any questions. I'll do my best to get to those as soon as I can. And yeah, thanks for watching. And if you guys haven't subscribed, please do. Please leave a like. And I will look forward to talking to you on the next review. Have a good day, guys. See ya.